Welcome back to Wrestling with Horror. My name is Andrew Dreamer. Today we are talking about AEW Full Gear 2022. This event happened just last night as I'm recording this, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about my thoughts on the show. So I'm not going to waste too much time. Probably not going to be a super long video, but before I get into this, again, I want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Just hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on. That way you never miss anything from this channel. And also, I haven't really talked about this much at all, but I actually do have a merchandise store on ProWrestlingTees.com/Andrew Dreamer. So that's where you can go to get any t-shirts of mine that you want. I'm working on a t-shirt that's going to have the Wrestling with Horror logo on it, so I'll be sure to let you know when that's ready to be dropped, and any support would be, I would be extremely grateful for it. You don't have to, and I'm not going to be upset if nobody does, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I know I usually include that at the end of the videos, but I wanted to kind of just mention it here just for a second. Anyway, so now that we're done with that, let's get right into the video. So, AEW Full Gear was a good show. I've never seen a bad AEW pay-per-view. They've never gone out there and just put on a stinker or a dud of a show. Everything has always been really good from them when they get to these quarterly pay-per-views, which a lot of the success is probably because of the quarterly pay-per-views. And I think it's a very good model to stick to for the time being. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? Anyway, so we kicked off the night strong with a steel cage match between Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And when you're starting things off with a steel cage, that's always going to be a way to get fans off their feet early and often, because this match was just nonstop hard-hitting action, and it was just a really, really good match. And these two are both really, really talented, and personally, I've been really invested in this story. I'm a big fan of Christian Cage, and seeing where he's gone throughout this whole story, this has been a really, really long story that's being told, but I'm so invested, and I want to see where it's going to go farther down the line once Christian is cleared and can come back to the ring. I'm not going to run through every match. I'm kind of just hitting the highlights, giving you some quick thoughts on what I felt about the show as a whole. So moving on, we got the return of the Elite after the brawl at All Out, if that's what we're going to call it. So I can't even express the happiness that I felt seeing them on the screen again. I actually really, really miss Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks on my TV. They bring a certain energy and just talent to the show, to the roster, to the ring. All three of them are very, very, very good at what they do. They're some of the best professional wrestlers in the world, and it shows every single time they step foot between those ropes. And then when you put them across from Death Triangle, 10 times out of 10 is that going to be a banger of a match. And this was no exception. And, you know, after this, now we found out that we're going to get a best of 7 series to see who actually is going to be the Trios champions. And I'm really, really intrigued to see what happens with that. Like, could this actually go 7 matches? I don't know. But I'm excited to see how it all unfolds. Another big moment from the show was Soraya's first match back in several years after an injury basically cut her career short. You know, it's just, all I really want to say about this one is that it was super nice to see somebody who actually is passionate about the business be able to get back in the ring after being told that they'll never wrestle again. So it's just a nice moment that we all should love to see. And there was a nice moment shared between the two of them, her and Britt Baker, after the match, and it was a nice feeling. She had her family there, and I can't leave this video without talking about Sting and Darby Allin taking on Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Now, this is not a match I ever thought I would see. Certainly not in the year 2022. But here we are, Sting in his almost mid-60s now, still looking as good as ever. And him and Darby Allin just have this really close friendship and bond that you can tell reaches way beyond the ring. And it comes across, and it just feels genuine, everything that they do. And every match that we see Sting in now, it seems like he's diving off something just to say, hey, I can still do this. And Sting's always been one of my favorites. But he's just a great guy and a great wrestler, and he's an icon. That's why he's called the Icon. And then again, you had across the other side of the ring, you had Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, never thought I would see him in AEW, certainly not in this capacity, but here we are. He's teaming with Jay Lethal, who he has actually teamed with recently to take on Ric Flair in Ric Flair's last match. Who knows? But, so we've seen them together, and now we're seeing them together in AEW, and it just... This little thing here that they've been doing with this rivalry, it works for me. I wish that it would get a little more time, and I think it probably still will, but that's where we're going with it, and that's where we're at right now. And the last thing I really wanted to mention, before I do, I would like to say if I didn't talk about a certain match on this show, it doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy the match. There was actually no matches that I thought were bad on this show. The show overall was very good. Was it the best show that AEW has ever done? Probably not, but it was still a very good, very, very good show. So, we got to talk about the main event. MJF taking on Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. First of all, the dynamics were a little different. MJF has been doing his thing over the past few weeks, basically trying to convince people that he's actually changing a little bit. Well, spoiler alert, he didn't change. It was a very, very good match. Both competitors gave it their all, and I think that came across really well. They have good chemistry. It seems like they hit all their spots and their marks and everything. But when it came time for the finish, MJF reaches into his trunks to pull out that dynamite diamond ring that he has used so many times to gain so many victories. And here comes William Regal to say, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. You said you were going to earn this one. So he throws the ring away. And you think, okay, good for you, Max. You're going to do this the right way. And lo and behold, the referee's already been taken out. 2 of them, actually. Regal tells Mox to basically get the referee up so he can get the win. He's already got a visual submission on MJF up to this point. So he goes to get the referee up, and in the meantime, what happens? William Regal basically turns on Jon Moxley, sliding MJF, the brass knuckles that Regal has become famous for over the years. MJF cracks Jon Moxley across the head, gets the 1, 2, 3. We have a brand new AEW World Champion. And honestly, I think this is the right call. Hopefully Mox can go get that vacation that he's been supposed to have had since All Out. It's long overdue at this point if that's what he wants. But I'm super excited to see what MJF can do with this championship run of his. I think he's probably going to hold the belt for a very long time. This is what AEW should be about. They saw that MJF was probably the fastest rising star in the company, and they strapped a rocket to his back, and here we are. And let's let him run with the ball. Put it in his hands, watch him go to work. I think you're going to get something magical each and every week from MJF. He plays his role. He knows who he is as a person. He knows what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are, and he uses all of that perfectly to just create this person that he is. And I'm very, very glad that he is the AEW champion now. So like I said, this may not have been AEW's biggest or best pay-per-view event. There wasn't really a whole lot of surprises throughout the show. It was just a very well-rounded professional wrestling show. And, you know, at the end of the day, you can't complain when you get one of those, so I'm not going to complain. It was a really good show, and I was very happy with it. And I'm excited for what the future holds in AEW. It seems like something's changing, something's switching up. It seems like everybody's a little happier, like there's a little more effort being put in from everybody. Morale just seems to be ticking upward, and that's always good. I want to see that in every professional wrestling locker room. So that's really all I wanted to say about this one. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure you leave a like if you haven't already. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and I will see you next time on Wrestling with Horror.